So in this video, we are going to learn how to create a task in Taskade from Google Form responses. Let's say you're using Taskade as a platform to match all the tasks and project-related works, and you're using Google Form as an online form building application. Now you want to create a Google Form in such a way that whenever you receive a new form submission with the same details, a task should be created in Taskade. So let me tell you, you can actually do this. You can actually automate this process with the help of Pabbly Connect. In this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new form response in Google Forms, automatically with the same form responses, we can create a task in Taskade. Now, if you want to know how you can set up this automation, for that, you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. So I would like to name my workflow as Google Forms to Taskade. And then just select the folder of your Pabbly Connect account in which you want to create this automation workflow. So I'm selecting the home folder and click on Create. Now you can see a workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with our trigger window. Now the idea here is, first we have to connect our Google form with Pabbly Connect in the trigger window, so that whenever a person is going to enter their details and make the form submission, whenever we are going to receive a new response in our Google form, automatically those form responses will be captured inside Pabbly Connect and this automation workflow will trigger. After that, using this Pabbly Connect automation, we are going to send those form responses to Taskade and we are going to create a new task in our Taskade account. So let's see how it is done. Starting from our trigger window, in Choose App, search for Google Forms. Just select it. After selecting Google Forms, in Trigger Event from this drop-down, select New Response Received. And after selecting our trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now using this webhook URL, we are going to connect our Google form with Pabbly Connect and receive the form responses in our Pabbly Connect workflow. And to do this, we just have to follow the instructions given below over here. So just copy this webhook URL from here and go to your Google form which you have created. After opening your Google form, the first thing what you have to ensure is the last question of your Google form should be marked as required. It is very important to mark the question as required. The last question should be marked as required. After that, what we have to do, we are going to basically send the responses of our Google form submission from Google Sheets to Pabbly Connect. So we all know that Google form responses are stored in a Google Sheet and we are going to send the responses, that form submission data from that particular Google Sheets to our Pabbly Connect workflow. So to do this, we will come to this responses tab, click on this link to Sheets button, select create a new spreadsheet and click on create. As we click on create, here you can see in a new tab, a Google Sheet will open in front of us. Now in this Google spreadsheet, all the form responses of this Google form will be stored. So here you can see all the fields of our Google form are created as columns in this Google Sheet. Now after this, what we have to do, to connect this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect, we have to add this webhook URL in the Google Sheet. And to add it, just go to Extensions, Add-ons and click on Get Add-ons. After clicking on Get Add-ons, we will reach to Google Workspace Marketplace. And here in Search app, search for Pabbly Connect Webhooks. And as you can see, Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google Sheets. You just have to install this same add-on and after installing it, just refresh your Google Sheets once. This is a very important step. After refreshing your Google Sheets, just go to Extensions and you can see Pabbly Connect Webhooks. This add-on can be seen over here. Just hover on it and click on Initial Setup. After clicking on Initial Setup, this box will appear in front of us. And it is basically asking us three different things. First one is selected sheet. So it is most likely possible that in your Google spreadsheet, you might have created multiple sheets. So the new row of data from which sheet we want to send to Pabbly Connect, we have to select that particular sheet over here. Right now, in this particular Google spreadsheet, here you can see I have only one sheet named as form responses 1. That's why by default it has selected form responses 1. Then it is asking us for the webhook URL. Now here in webhook URL, we have to enter the same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. Just copy it from here and then paste it over here. After pasting the webhook URL, it is asking us for the trigger column. Now you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. So in the background, you can see in this example, column F is going to be my trigger column because this is the last column in which any of my data exists. After column F, in any of my column, none of my data does not exist. So I will be selecting column F as trigger column. But according to your Google form, according to your Google spreadsheet which you have created, any column could be your trigger column. You just have to ensure that it is the last column in which the data is entered in your Google spreadsheet. And after entering the trigger column, just click on Submit. Now when we click on Submit, it is showing us Setup configured successfully. This means we have successfully added this webhook URL. After this, just close the window, go to Extensions, and then go to Pabbly Connect Webhooks. And this time we have to select the Send on Event option. By selecting Send on Event, we are telling this Google Sheet, we are telling this add-on that whenever a new row of data is added in this Google Sheet, means whenever we are going to receive a new form response, a new form submission in Google Forms, automatically instantly send that data of a form submission of a new row to Pabbly Connect. And here we have successfully completed the step 1 of setting up this automation. And in our Pabbly Connect workflow, you can see it is showing us waiting for webhook response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get some response of a new form submission from Google Forms. So let's do it. We will go to our Google form and we will just open this form in preview mode. And we are going to make a dummy form submission. Let's see, the name of the person who is submitting the form is demo user. This is the email address of that person. After that, we are going to add a title as, for example, MailChimp integration not working. And then I'm going to add a description as, for example, adding subscriber to MailChimp action is not functioning properly. So just now I've just entered some dummy details. We are going to make a test form submission. Then I have to give a due date for this task. So using this automation, whatever details we are entering over here, using these same details, a new task will be created in our Taskade account. So I want to enter a due date, and the due date which we are entering, it should be in year, month and day format. So I'll just enter the year, then I'll enter the month, and then I'll enter the date, the due date over here. And after entering all the details, let's click on Submit. Now, as we click on Submit, here you can see just now we have received a new form submission in our Google form. And you can see the form responses are automatically added in Google Sheet as well. Now, because we have connected this Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect, we will see in our Pabbly Connect workflow in this triggers tab. Earlier, it was showing us waiting for webhook response, but now it has received the response of the exact same form submission. And in this response, you can see all the details. You can see the trigger column which we have selected. You can see the timestamp that at what date and time we have received this form submission. So in the Google Sheet, you can see the same timestamp as well. You can see the name of the spreadsheet. You can see the task title, the same task title which we have just now entered while making the form submission. Then you can see the name of the person which they have entered in the form. You can see the same email, same due date, and also the same description of the task which we have added. This means we have successfully received the Google Form responses in our Pabbly Connect workflow. Now after this, let's move to step 2. And in step 2, we want to create a task in Taskade using these same form responses. For that, we will just scroll down, come to this action window, and here in Choose App, we will search for Taskade. Just select it. After selecting Taskade, in Action Event from the drop-down, select the action event as Create Task. And then just click on Connect and select Add New Connection. Now here we have to connect our Taskade account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Connect with Taskade button. After clicking on this, here you can see because I have already logged into my Taskade account in my browser, Pabbly Connect will detect the same account and ask us for the permission. Just click on allow, and as we click on allow, we will see our Taskade account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the workspace ID, that in which particular workspace in our Taskade account we want to create a task. So in my Taskade account, I have two workspaces. First one is named as workspace and second one is named as Pabbly testing. So I want to create a task in the workspace named as workspace. So from this drop down, I'm going to select that particular workspace or workspace ID over here. After selecting the workspace, it is asking us for the folder ID, that in this particular workspace, in which folder we have the project for which we want to create the task. So in my Taskade account here, you can see in the workspace, I have only one folder named as Pabbly Connect. And in our Pabbly Connect workflow as well, under folder ID, you can see only one folder that is named as Pabbly Connect. So I will be creating the task under this folder. After selecting the folder, we have to select the project ID. So in the same folder, it is most likely possible that you might have created multiple projects. Like you can see, I have 5 projects in my folder. Now, out of all of these 5 projects, in which project we want to create the task, we have to select that. So I want to create the task in this project named as Google Forms. So I have selected that. After this, it is asking us for the content, that what will be the content or the details of this new task which we are creating. So I want my content to be task title, and then in front of it, whatever task title we are receiving from Google Form responses, I want to add the same title in front of this in this content section. So from Google Form responses, here you can see we have received the title of the task as well. And we are going to use the process of mapping to map this response of task title received from Google Forms in this Taskade action step. And the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and here in this drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Google Forms. Out of all of these responses, select the response of task title and it will be mapped over here. So whatever task title the user is going to enter while making the form submission, the same task title will be added in this content section for creating the task in Taskade. Then after that, I want to add the description of the task as well. So we will be using the same process of mapping because we have received the description of the task from Google Form responses. So we will select it and map it too. Then after adding the task title and task description, what do we want? We want to basically add the details of the person as well. So I'll be entering the username, the name of the person who basically made the form submission as well. So I'm writing username. In front of it, we are going to map the response of the name of the person. And after username, I'm going to mention the email address of this person as well. So we will write email and map the response of email over here. So right now, I just created this basic content for the task. But according to your requirement, according to your choice, you can create any field in your Google form, take those responses, and using those responses, you can create any content for the new task which we are creating in our Taskade account. After content, it is asking us start date and end date for the task. So both of these fields are not mandatory, are not required. So if you want, you can ignore these fields for now as well. But because we have received the due date, the task end date from our Google Form submission, we will be adding the end date as well. Just click on this field and from the drop down, select the response of due date, select the response of end date and map it. So whatever due date the user is going to enter while making the form submission, the same due date will be added to this task while creating it. And also just mention that the format of the date should be the same. We should be entering the date as the same format of year, month, and then date. After end date, it is asking us for the time zone. So I'm in India, and in India, we follow Asia Calcutta time zone. So that's why I've entered Asia Calcutta as a time zone. But if you are in any other time zone, then you can enter your time zone according to your choice as well. Or you can just keep it blank. And after mapping all the details, after entering all the details over here, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now, when we click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we are going to receive some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the details or the content for the task which we have created, which we have entered over here, using these content, a task is created for this particular project. So let's check it. We will go to our Taskade account, we'll go to this project. And yes, here you can see a new task is created in our Taskade account. Here you can see the same task title which we have entered while making the form submission in Google Forms. You can see the same task description, you can see the same username and same email address as well. This means the automation workflow which we have created using Pabbly Connect, this automation is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, whenever we are going to receive a new response in our Google Forms, automatically using those details, we can create a task in Taskade. Now after creating this automation, let's test this automation workflow once. We will go to a Google form and we are going to make another form submission over here. We will enter the name as, for example, this time the name of the person is test user. This is the email address. And then we are going to add a task title as, for example, we are testing. Then I want to add a description as, for example, we are testing this automation in real time. After entering the description, let me add a due date as, for example, the year is 2023, the month is December 12 and that is 31. So 31st of December 2023 is the due date for this task. Let's click on submit. Now after clicking on submit, here you can see just now we have made a new form submission in Google Forms. And as we receive this new form submission, we will see within seconds with the same details, a task will be created in Taskade. And yes, here you can see the task is created in Taskade. Here you can see the same task title, we are testing. You can see the same description, same username, and also the same email address of the person. This means we have tested this automation in real time and this automation is working perfectly fine. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of this exact same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on this link, you can basically clone this same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this workflow for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down to your suggestion, and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.